call to order the regular business meeting of the Lakewood City Council on July 22nd at 7:02 p.m. To connect to the council meeting tonight, for those virtual, you can use the following links at lakewoodspeaks.org or lakewood.org/council videos. For online public comments, and actually for those of you that are joining us here in person tonight, we have the ability for you to do online public comment while you're in the audience. You can do that at lakewoodspeaks.org, an online public forum. We are leaving that open through tonight and into tomorrow until 10 a.m. So anybody decides not wanting to get up and talk in front of everybody, or you know someone else that would like to submit a comment isn't able to be here, they can go to lakewoodspeaks.org and submit a comment there, and it is added to the public record for this evening. Anyone who would like to address the City Council will actually be given two opportunities tonight. We've got general public comment after we get through the one big item of our consent agenda this evening. It's a light night, so for those of you that are joining us, you're lucky you're here. So we will get started with that first. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Strom.
Here.
Over. Here. Maya Guerrero.
Here.
Councilor Stewart is absent. Councilor Ryan is absent. Mayor Pro Tem Sharzai is absent. Councilor LeBure.
Here.
Nystrom.
Here.
Lowe.
Here.
Cruz.
Here.
And Sinks.
Here.
Mayor Strom, you have a quorum.
All right, thank you. For all those that are able to stand, please do so for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment afterward of silent prayer. All members of the City Council have the responsibility to comply with the terms of Charter 7.2 Parens B and excuse themselves from voting on any matter in which they determine they have a personal, financial, or business interest. The City Council is empowered by Charter 7.2 Parens B to agree by unanimous vote, excluding the member at issue, to excuse any member of the council from voting on a matter in which they determine such member has a personal, financial, or business interest. One note before we get started this evening, we're going to do one agenda switcheroo this evening. We have a special thing to do, some recognition to give this evening. We'd like to move that forward a little bit. So with that, we will be moving item 10 on our agenda up to be right after item number 7. For council, do we have any items this evening that we wish to have removed from the consent agenda? All right. Will the clerk please read the consent agenda into the record?
The consent agenda consists of the following items. Item 5, Resolution 2024-35, Intergovernmental Agreement with Foothills Animal Shelter. Item 6, Ordinance O-2024-19, amending Title II, Section 2.02020 of the Lakewood Municipal Code to adopt Bob's Rules of Procedure as the procedural rules of the City Council and revise other ancillary provisions. Item 7, approving City Council minutes, City Council regular meeting, June 10th, 2024.
All right, thank you. I don't have anyone up here desiring to speak on the consent agenda. Do we have anyone that would like to sign up to speak on the consent agenda this evening? All right. So with that, may I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Mayor Strom, I move for the approval of the City Council minutes, order all ordinances introduced on first reading to be published in the Denver Post with public hearings set for the date included in the ordinance, and for adoption of resolutions all of which are included in the consent agenda items introduced into the record by the city clerk.
Second.
All right, a motion has been made and seconded. Is there any additional discussion on the consent agenda this evening? Okay. And with that, we'll go ahead and cast our votes on the consent agenda. Okay, and that passes unanimously for the group that is here this evening. And with that, we'll go ahead and move on to item number 10 after item number 7.
I haven't seen those. Good evening, Mayor Strom and members of City Council. This is the first time I've had a chance to see this picture, so it's funny to see all those old memories. So I'm here this evening because I want to express sincere appreciation and offer public recognition to our Community Resources Director, Kit Newland. Kit has announced her retirement from the City of Lakewood, and that'll be effective August 2nd. 2024, right? Yeah. Kit was hired in 2002, and she was hired as the recreation manager, responsible for hundreds of programs and services for Lakewood residents, from the little teeny young little ones all the way to our older adults. And that includes programs and facilities and swimming pools and rec centers and fields, et cetera. Kit was then promoted in 2010 to Community Resources Director. This is the job she's held for 14 years, and she's been responsible for recreation, for the arts, the Lakewood historic buildings, the golf courses, well over 100 parks, and thousands of acres of open space. All of the public buildings have been under the responsibility of Kit's department: the Older Adult Center, Clements Center, Bear Creek Lake Park, and on and on. It's a big job. And Kit's done an amazing, amazing work in her position. Kit's also conducted a pretty aggressive parkland acquisition program, amounting to hundreds of acres of parkland for our residents to enjoy. I could fill the night sky with all of the wonderful things I've heard about Kit throughout her career. And this is from community members, her staff, other communities, the public, her peers, business partners, etc. Kit is well loved and well respected, and we will miss her deeply. So I'd like to thank Kit for 22 years of service to our city.
Thank you, Ms. Hodson.
Ms. Watson.
Thank you, Kathy. That made me cry. Thank you so much. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. It's been an incredible journey for me, and I'm incredibly humbled and blessed by the opportunity that was afforded me 22 years ago to come work for the City of Lakewood. And these last 14 years as the Community Resources Director have just been the icing on an amazing cake for me. It's been an amazing journey, and I've just thoroughly enjoyed serving the citizens and the leadership of Lakewood. I'm very grateful to have had the chance to work with so many talented elected officials such as yourselves, and with so many skilled, smart, and thoughtful colleagues and employees of the city. Although I'm really looking forward to my retirement years, some of you already experiencing that, I will definitely miss my coworkers and the relationships that I've built across the city. Thank you so much for the recognition.
Thank you. And I will add, I had the opportunity to meet Kit, I think it was in 2014 or 2015, as a young budding PTA mom that had no plans of politics in her future, as we were working to update and just turn around a very much needed playground in a very complicated situation that was a school property, but city park, and everybody knows government does not necessarily communicate well and get along and all the things, and let's not talk about raising money, whole other challenge. And Kit and your team, you guys were amazing and giving us ideas of other opportunities, and really just the creativity that you guys contributed to that project. I couldn't be more grateful, and I've enjoyed getting to know you even more ever since. So thank you, and good luck as you move on. All right, and with that, we will go ahead and open up general public comment this evening. So this is the place in which we welcome the public to come speak about items that are not on the agenda this evening. With that, we do have sign-up sheet up front, so we will start with our folks that are signed up there. Everyone that's here is invited up forward to the lectern. We've got the microphone that's on. We'll ask you to give your name and address, or your name and ward. Every individual speaker gets 3 minutes. If you pool your time with 3 other people, so it's a total of 4 people, you actually would get 10 minutes in lieu of doing the 3 on your own. So we'll give you an idea how to get started there. And again, we have lakewoodspeaks.org that's available for anybody that would like to submit comments on that as well. We do ask that we maintain the decorum of the meeting. We're making sure that we want everybody to be heard. We want to create an environment that is supportive of open voices. So it asks that we're not clapping or booing or shouting or anything like that, as we're giving each speaker the opportunity to speak this evening. If you have any handouts for City Council, we ask you that you please leave them with the City Clerk, and he'll distribute those to Council after the meeting this evening. And with that, we'll go ahead and start calling our names. First on this evening, we have Mr. James Mace, and then Teresa Beezer, you'll be next, and then Chandra Shah, you'll be number 3.
Seconds, please. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Again, I'm up here just like I was 2 weeks ago to express my concern and my anger. You guys are not listening to us again because of the simple fact I've been pulled over by the police department several times. I've been, put in dangerous situations on your guys' behalf, okay? And I'm tired of my safety and Connie Riddick's safety being put in jeopardy, okay? We have no voice. The council doesn't give one iota about any of us, and I am sick and tired of it. Mayor, I wrote you an email, and I have not received one single response. I am tired of dealing with this. I am tired of coming up here and arguing with you guys. Okay? Safety is number one, and safety should be number one. It's not just the police department, but you guys were elected to serve and protect the public, and you're not doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mace. Teresa Beezer.
Hello, Mayor and City Council members. I'm from Ward 1, and I've given you guys each a handout, and sorry for the typos it kind of, I print them at the Lakewood Library. I don't have a printer anymore, and so it didn't format correctly, and there's a few typos. But anyways, I'm concerned about the donated property that was Vivian Elementary that is being sold so that Jeffco can sell it for redevelopment costs. And I know this is happening at other schools in our area, but I think these schools, and primarily I'm worried about my school, Vivian, that it's a vital piece to our community. It's a place where the neighbors and children and everyone goes to play. But the school district has no interest in keeping the property, and they seem to be on the fast path to getting rid of our property. I say that because it should belong, I think, to the city of Lakewood. And over the years, the school was used for so many different things, and there really isn't anything within 10 minutes of my house that I can go to. There's no other options that I can get to. And I think you have my comments, so I'm gonna jump through them really quick. I think that it would be great if we could talk them into somehow donating the property to the city. We can transform it back into a park or an open space. I do believe that the land could be used to make money as community gardens. I do believe there are several options that I have listed in this document where we could actually not just point at problems, that we could find ways to find solutions, and that we could potentially do long-term leases, even if Jeffco Schools wanted to own the land, and then use that to develop into maybe a community center, dog parks. There are no dog parks in my north neighborhoods, so I was hoping that maybe that might be an option. I'm also in cybersecurity, so I would absolutely love to see something developed like they did in Expo Park in Aurora. They took one of the community centers and they made it into a cooking kitchen, a dance studio, and a cybersecurity e-gaming space. And so that's something that, my email's at the top. If anyone wants to reach out to me and figure out if I can get a grant to make that happen at one of these schools, I am all in. So let's see, we were also talking about maybe that these things get portioned out, that you give a portion of the land to the developer, let it go, and then you keep a portion of the land as a park. In my neighborhood, Vivian has a brand new park. And so I don't know if anyone realizes that the school district just put in the brand new park. And so we have a large community in my neighborhood, and we're very interested in finding creative solutions. Thank you very much for your time.
Chanda Shah, then Susan Dubois, then Jack Meineke.
Good evening, Chandra Shah, Ward 1. Thank you for the opportunity to speak, Mayor Strom and council members. I want to thank you. I spoke on August 8th, and I'm here again just to provide some more input on Vivian Elementary. And I appreciate the communications and discussions that I've had with Glenda, and that the city is interested in potentially purchasing the park, but not at market rate. And we're hoping that there are some solutions that we can work on with you and other organizations, with Jeffco Schools, and with the neighborhood to come up with a way to retain the beautiful park area that's there. There's a nice baseball diamond and soccer goalposts, a basketball court. There's, I think it's brand new playground equipment. And I spoke with a woman with Colorado Kids Academy that lives a couple blocks away. They use the playground for their preschool kids. So this land, as has been mentioned, is being used by the community already, and it would be great if we could continue to have the use of that land rather than having it all developed into houses, or worse yet, condos. So we're available to help. The community's here. We've got a number of people here that are all concerned, and we hope that we can come to some solutions, and that you can maybe help or encourage the Jeffco Schools to slow down the process. I mean, based on what they presented in the June 10th community meeting, the timeline is very aggressive, and Glenda, you mentioned that probably won't actually move that fast, but if it does, there isn't a lot of time to come up with a solution. So we're here from the community to do whatever we can to help find a solution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Mayor, council people. I'm Susan Dubois. I'm part of Ward 1. I concur with what the last two speakers have said. The grounds at Vivian have provided such a community for us. I've met my neighbors because we gathered there, and it's very important for our neighborhood. To have a development that could bring in 60 houses and 150 cars potentially would so change the nature of the neighborhood, it would be devastating, and it would make me cry. So whatever you can do to find a way to get the land at a below market price, to keep it as a part of a community center, would be very, very appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Jack Meineke, then we have Jeff Walker, and then Connie Reddick.
Jack Meineke, Ward 3. I would like to see if something can't be done about the 4th of July fireworks. They start before the 4th, and it goes on till 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, it was at midnight, and it shook me out of bed. So I'm only 90 years old and a little bit gun shy on that. Then the other thing is the people standing in the middle of the street washing windshields. They're a hazard. They're go almost be run over sometimes when people are driving through there. So that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Meineke. Jeff Walker.
What? You forgot your phone? Oh. Oh, that's what fell. Okay, thank you, sir.
Good evening, beautiful people. Name's Jeff Walker, Ward 3, I believe I said last time. Take it with a grain of salt. Whatever you think about homeless people is probably correct or whatever, but I didn't plan my life to be homeless at all. In fact, little story, I graduated Montana State University with a civil engineering degree with an emphasis on structural. And I'm smart enough to know that I don't know everything, which is a good thing. But a bridge is only as good as its weakest point. And community is only good as its weakest people. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that have the disease of addiction. I kind of know a little bit about that too. I've been sober for 30 years. So I know it's a dis-ease of the mind. And unfortunately, you either get better or you die. That's the only options. And, but whatever you may think, there's always that one person that has preconceived notions of what things are supposed to be like instead of what they really are. And the community is so important for everybody, including the homeless, believe it or not. And every day I'm finding out different avenues and different people to talk to, which is nice, but it's not readily available. Like, for instance, you should have points where that could be very readily available, like a library, let's say, or a police station. And say, you know, you have a pamphlet of, you know, you can go here to get housing, you go here to get food. The majority of my money that I get, which isn't much, it's about what you guys make a month. And I challenge you to try to live on that, which is a joke. And you know it, and I know it, but yeah, I lost my train of thought, I'm sorry. But great to see everybody, and thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Connie Reddick. Then we have Lori Kramer, and then Dan Epion. Miss Reddick, oh, there she is.
I'm Connie Reddick from Ward 3, and I've come here since 2018 to see if I could get some resolution for my living conditions, which is a federal building that gets federal money and also tax credit money, and also is run by the mayor and the constituents that she has elected to be overseeing my building. And the problem is, I'm continually bullied. I actually, at one time, a letter was sent to you from some slandering lawyer that she was supposed to send me paperwork, and also you have received paperwork which you told HUD that you had sent to me, which I have never received. And the problem is this: they can clean a parking lot, but I have a refrigerator that has went out and has been told for several years I've been telling you about this refrigerator. My food is spoiled. For Thanksgiving, I wanted to make a turkey, but of course they didn't give me an ADA apartment or a stove. They brought a stove that was used, and the door fell down. And so, no, I didn't get to have a Thanksgiving dinner. And now I get another notice on my door, which is totally not legal, saying that I wasn't there when HUD was on the phone with me at my home. At the door, they left a letter saying that because I came to city council and complained about what's going on, I was evicted, and because of my speaking up, that Joyce, the manager, had retired. But they didn't mention that she got retired for racism, and a black woman filed a lawsuit against her, and she was to leave at that time, but she continued to stay there until she was able to retire. And so, and in all that time, my place has been broken into. I've asked from the time that I moved in that I get a new key lock. They think that because I'm physically challenging, that I have a dead brain, that I don't know what's going on. But excuse me, you can't change a lock without opening a door. So they give me a key and say, oh, I changed your lock, but people have come in, they have taken things, and the manager doesn't, or maintenance don't feel that they have to follow reasonable accommodations. My reasonable accommodation, since I became disabled, I'm to deal with one person at a time in my home. I don't have a bunch of people, and I don't think you do either, a maintenance guy, bring in 3 other maintenance guys to bully you. And so this is the type of thing I've had to deal with. When have you ever had a manager stand with
Ms. Reddick,
3
your
other
time is
maintenance
up.
people to try to fix something? I've asked for a reasonable accommodation.
Ms. Reddick, your time is up. Thank you for joining us tonight.
My time is always up.
Lori Kramer, then Dan Epion, and then Sandra Weathers.
Good evening, Mayor Strom and council members. My name is Lori Kramer. I'm a resident of Lakewood, Ward 1, and I live in the close vicinity to the Vivian Elementary School. I unfortunately wasn't able to attend the prior meeting, so I'm still catching up on the situation. But it's my understanding that in 1953, the property, it was 10 acres, was gifted to Jeffco Public Schools by, I believe, Albert and Blanche Larson for purposes of the district building an elementary school. I have a specific question in that regard. At the time of the conveyance, were there restrictions placed on the use of the property? Because if that was the case, then does the city, Jeffco County Public Schools, now have a right to change that usage, to convey it to developers or other individuals to change that original use? I don't know. I haven't had an opportunity to research that. But if the original conveyance specifically said that it was for that purpose, then I don't believe we can transfer it now to a general sale to developers or other individuals simply for profits. I don't disagree that it's wonderful to have those resources for the school system. We need that. But I also think we need, and I echo the sentiments of my predecessors here tonight, I also think we need a community center. It's my understanding school itself has spent a great deal of money in asbestos removal and improving the property to the current condition. It's there, it's usable. I like the comments made by the young lady prior to me in regard to investigating other options. I agree, this is fast tracking very quickly. This is one of the joys that I have, is that we place such a high priority on our park system, our recreation system, our community systems and support that families, children are allowed to utilize. My children are grown at this stage of the game. Have a little grandson now, but I feel very strongly as a former PTA member, you yourself, Mayor Strong, were talking about fighting for that playground years ago and how important it was to those children. I've taught, I've coached, I've done a number of worked with children over the years, and I tend to agree with that very strongly. We have that property. It's been utilized for a number of years by the families in the community. I would like to see us come up with some other alternative that could still utilize that property in the same manner. Rent it out possibly to different organizations, to mental health groups, to cooking class, different types of community programs.
I'm sorry, your time is expired.
That's fine. But I do have that concern and that question about the original conveyance and whether that restricts a possible conveyance now. Thank you.
Thank
have a good
you.
evening.
Dan Epion? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Then we have Sandra Weathers and then Amber Varwig. How do you pronounce it?
It's Irian.
Irian,
Yes.
okay. Sorry about that.
Council members, my wife and I are in our 60s, and we've been residents of Lakewood for over 40 years. We're recovering from a house fire where our contractor Rico took our insurance money and failed to rebuild our home. We have been living at this property for over 30 years without any complaints or any other issues. Recently, I have been experiencing issues with various citations from the code enforcement, and I've been into court 13 times. I have somebody down there who is irritated with me, and I need some help, some guidance on how we can get this cleared up and straightened out. I realize it's one property, not the city. I can't do anything with my property at this point without getting some kind of citation or some issue over a fence or something. If I could get with one of you and maybe get your advice, your assistance, I know I'll talk to Oliver a little bit, I said something to the council about 2 years ago. They sent a email to code enforcement. I received another citation in another court. I would like to talk to somebody and have them look over my case, give me some advice so I can get on with my life. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we have Mr. Goldstein, will you get his contact information? I may have been challenging reading your email so that we can follow.
I understand that.
Okay.
And I'll get with Oliver. I've talked to him a little bit. I'll give him the information. Would that work? Okay.
Sandra Withers.
Sandy Weathers, Ward 3. We're on day 289 of the ongoing U.S.-funded genocide on Palestinians. My friends and I promised we would continue to come until City Council passed a ceasefire resolution. So here we are. Some of you have been vocal about the reasons why you didn't want to pass a ceasefire resolution. The reasons include it's outside of your purview as city councilors, and it's not appropriate for City Council to focus on an issue occurring halfway around the world. When there are problems here in Lakewood, naturally, we disagree with this rationale, although we understand that Lakewood City Council does not have the power to enforce peace in the Middle East. We feel it is imperative for us to come before you to make this case. Although we have made several attempts using different tactics to persuade our Colorado congressional delegation, all of our efforts have failed. In fact, it sometimes appears that our Congresswoman is acting to oppose our requests. We are unsure of the knowledge that council has, or the people watching at home, regarding the votes that have been taken against this cause. So tonight, my friends and I are going to speak to what has occurred legislatively and how these votes not only impact Palestinians across the globe, but also how they impact people here in Lakewood. I will begin this evening by talking about HB 16-1284. This is a Colorado law that was passed before October 7th. If you look at the bill name, it was passed in 2016. This bill is named Divest from Companies Against Israel. This bill requires the Colorado Public Employee Retirement Association pension to divest from any company who is participating in BDS. So BDS, in case if anyone doesn't know, it's boycott, divest, and sanction. It's one of the few ways that people like me can use our power, especially when elected officials are not listening to our requests. Brittany Pedersen was a state representative at the time, and she co-sponsored this bill. And although earlier this year, Representative Epps tried to repeal it, the vote failed. Our own Representative Chris Kennedy voted against it. So this impacts any public employee who lives in Lakewood because their pension funds may be used to invest in Israel, despite any objectives that the pension holder may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Amber Varwig, then Mackenzie, and then Bruce Morrison.
Hi, Amber Varwig, Ward 2. Not sick, having dental stuff. Just don't be afraid. So she sort of set up why we're here, but I want to talk about this a little bit separately. Because there's two things that she voted with that I'm really concerned about, and that would be Colorado House Resolution 883 and 894. And that's because both of those directly go against the First Amendment, in my opinion. And I'll tell you why. Because when I'm done, I hope I'm not a terrorist. I genuinely don't know if I will be. I want to point out before I say anything, it sets a really dangerous precedent because we do impact things here in Colorado. We often do a lot of firsts. We are used as precedent in a lot of ways. Anything that can further weaponize language is not good for us right now politically at this time. If you say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, that's anti-Semitic, needs to be strongly condemned. Let's look at the words. If I say from the mountains to the trees, Palestine will be free, is that still terrorist? Which part of the statement is terrorist? There's no weapons mentioned, there's no violence mentioned. Shucks, it's nature and the word Palestine. What if next time it's Iran? What if next time, we don't want to do that. We also don't want to look at people who are Palestinian constituents and say, the name of the place you're from is literally taboo for us to say in this way, because there's nothing else in that you could find objectionable. From the river to the sea. Nouns and verbs and lots of words, but nothing dangerous there. It's the word Palestine. That's obvious. Please let that sit with you for a minute, okay? Because it has nothing to do with Palestine maybe for you, but it could be abortion, it could be trans rights, it could be gay rights, the right to marry, it could be anything. Do we really want that to be what we do? And if you're anti-Zionist, you're anti-Semitic. So next, if I'm socialist, do I go to jail? If you're a Republican and Democrats are in, are you gonna, what are we doing here? We're supposed to be different. We're supposed to be, we don't take rights away from people. That's not supposed to be what we do. We're supposed to protect people's rights. This does nothing for anyone, but it vilifies one specific set of people, because from the anthill to from the river to it's the word Palestine. They're angry with Palestine, but what if the next time we're angry at someone, it's where you're from? Think about this. Not your candidate, whoever it is, might not get in. Do you really want what we do now to shape what we're allowed to do later, how we're allowed to speak? Is Orwell truly correct? Have a lovely day, and I hope you all are well.
Thank you, Ms. Farwick. Mackenzie.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Mackenzie. I'm an elementary educator and a new resident of Belmar. My initial feeling when getting the opportunity to share how your decisions impact your city, I'm honored, but the more that I learn about the inaction and complicity when listening to passionate people time and time again and doing nothing, I feel that what I say or express here will make no difference to the decisions that you've already made. I'm here to discuss Brittany Peterson's voting yes on House Resolution 6408, giving power to the Treasury Secretary to immediately remove nonprofit status from any organization that's proved to be supporting terrorism. The true intent being to penalize any nonprofit that is supporting Palestine, because according to the United States government, we are all Hamas. It is already illegal to support terrorism, and it is undemocratic to force bills with pre-positioned ideals when what we are claiming to solve is already solved. Several wide-reaching statutes already bar organizations, corporations, and individuals from supporting terrorism. House Resolution 6408, by contrast, hands the Department of Treasury broad new authority to strip nonprofit organizations of their charitable tax status by creating a new category of terrorist-supporting organizations. This is just one demonstration of what Brittany Peterson has done to show her commitment to Israel and against the Palestinian people who are currently undergoing an ethnic cleansing and genocide of their people. If you don't take these legislators seriously and their impact on the city of Lakewood, then I cannot convince you to do your job or to be a human while doing it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Bruce Morrison. Valerie Passerini, and then we have Arnie Carter.
Hi. I'd like to thank the council for all you do for the community and the opportunity to speak to you. Another reason why we're coming to you to talk about Gaza is because Brittany Peterson signed a letter, the Smith-Manning letter, condemning the Republic of South Africa for bringing charges against Israel for potential genocide. This letter called it disgusting and unfounded. South Africa's actions were of particular interest to me because I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Lesotho. And Lesotho, is, as you may know, is surrounded by the Republic of South Africa. So it's intimately involved in their apartheid system and their struggle for freedom. So I knew very well why South Africa would bring these charges and feel a solidarity toward the Palestinian people. The only real reason for this letter is oppression, to prevent the information about what's happening in Gaza, the atrocities in Gaza, from becoming public, and to prevent people from talking about it. That's really its only purpose, because South Africa's courage in bringing us was commendable, not disgusting. And the International Court of Justice did find evidence that there is plausible genocide. So she is not somebody that we feel support at all from. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morrison. Valerie Pastorini, then Arnie Carter, and I'll take just a moment to, if anybody else in chambers would like to sign up to vote, that's the last person I have signed up here. You can, we have more? Okay, perfect, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Valerie Pastorini, and I live in Ward 2. And I know that we talk a lot about how something that's happening on the other side of the world doesn't affect us here in Lakewood, but I did want to bring some figures to your attention. There is a website that takes the average $3.8 billion that we, which it's a lot more, so these figures are actually not even as large as they will be for 2024. But if you look at the $3.8 billion that we give to Israel every year, and you look at Lakewood's share, which is $2,473,162, other ways that money could be used rather than funding a country who has universal health care, free college, all of their 9 colleges are free, and is independently wealthy, that could provide 860 children here in Lakewood with free or low-cost health care. It could also fund the salaries, which, knowing that Jeffco salaries are a bit low, curious what they look at for an average, but 27 elementary school teachers. It could also provide 294 households with public housing for a year. And I just want to, we are all paying for this. And I want to bring some examples of how that money could be better, how that money could be better spent as well. I know that you all are not in a position where you can vote up or down, but I do know that being an elected official in Lakewood, you do have contact with people who are in a position to listen to us and change their votes as well, a lot more than we do, and we've tried. So I just wanted to also bring up a point that we look at what would happen if we stopped our aid to Israel. According to a scholar, Rob Pinfold with Hebrew University of Jerusalem, he says, I think any end to aid would mean that Israel would be much more likely to take radical moves that would not necessarily have the support of the international community. I think it would be dangerous. I think we can all agree we're already there, and it's not something that we as individuals should want to support, and I just wanted to bring those figures to you tonight. So thank you.
Thank you. Arnie Carter.
So I'm Arnie Carter in Ward 3. And one thing I wanted to bring up about why this matters to Lakewood is, international laws are being just disregarded, and genocide is happening, and the international community is just letting this happen. This makes everybody, including us in Lakewood, much less safer because laws are not being enforced. I also wanted to talk about INRA. It's the United Nations Refugee Works Agency, right? They've been providing food, schools, shelter to Palestinian refugees for generations, right? And January, Israel came out and accused 13 officials or 13 workers out of 38,000 employees of participating in the October 7th attack. So many countries throughout the world cut off food to UNRWA, cut off funding for UNRWA in a time when, the funding is so desperately needed. And many of those countries have, again, started funding because they found that Israel cannot back up, has not provided facts that UNRWA employees were even involved at all, including just last week, the newly elected Labour Party in the UK started funding again, said that they were going to start funding again. Representative Peterson voted to cut off aid to UNRWA, and we met with her a few months ago, and she promised to bring a bill forward to start the aid again, start funding UNRWA again. We've contacted her. She will not respond to us, and that bill is nowhere to be seen that we know of, and she will not respond to us. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Robb, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a Shelby from Ward 3, and then Josh Comden.
Good evening, Council. My name is Shelby Fuchs. I live at 1 Belmar in Lakewood. I've come to say that I strongly condemn your failure to show opposition to Brittany Pedersen for voting yes on House Resolution 6090. The Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, which threatens to censor any political speech critical of Israel on college campuses under the guise of addressing anti-Semitism. The House's approval of this misguided and harmful bill is a direct attack on the First Amendment. Addressing rising anti-Semitism is critically important, but sacrificing Americans' free speech is not the way to solve that problem. This bill would throw the full weight of the federal government behind an effort to stifle criticism of Israel and risks politicizing the enforcement of federal civil rights statutes precisely when their protections are needed most. The bill directs the Department of Education to consider an egregious and overbroad definition of anti-Semitism that encompasses protected political speech. We've been warned that this could pressure colleges and universities to restrict student and faculty speech critical of the Israeli government and its military operations out of fear of the college losing federal funding. How is it fair that our students are to be silenced out of fear? The truth is that we should be critical of the Israeli government when it stands for everything we as Americans stand against. Murdering and pillaging our neighbors will never be constitutional or seen as such, and I don't know how to make it more clear that it is critical to understand that anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism. I'm a firm anti-Zionist who loves my Jewish brothers and sisters. Federal law already prohibits anti-Semitic discrimination and harassment by federally funded entities, and the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act is not needed to protect Jewish students from discrimination. I'd like to mention that we have explained this very fact to Brittany in our meetings. Even one of our Jewish constituents stated this to her, and the very next day she voted on the Anti-Semitism Act. A phrase you hear often from our fellow freedom fighters has always been, "Oh, we're disappointed but not surprised." Well, I, for one, will never cease to be surprised when the people who are supposed to represent us in this so-called democracy will look me in my eyes, nodding politely time and time again, over and over, and continue to fail the people over and over again. The vigilant protection of constitutional freedoms is nowhere more vital than in the community of American schools. And the people of Lakewood must realize that this slow stripping of our First Amendment rights sets a dangerous precedent for the people of our city. What will be stripped of our rights next? The Senate must block this bill that undermines the First Amendment protections before it's too late. And also, please don't forget to support dropping the charges of all students arrested involved in a rare encampment protests. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I have Josh Comden.
So what I want to talk about, data. Data is very, very important. And in your legislative, in making ordinances and all that, you always talk about we need data-driven solutions. We need to make sure that we have data. But what happens when you don't have data? Then you just have to kind of go with the vibes or what you think might be the data. Unfortunately, our representative, Pedersen, decided to cross the aisle and join Republican Moskowitz to make an amendment so that to say that the Gaza Health Ministry numbers cannot be used in any decision-making at all. So that means there isn't any way for them to decide that, oh, people are dying. When that becomes an issue, when later on people want to say, oh, we really need to stop giving money to Israel, and they go, well, for what reason? We don't have any data to explain this. The Lancet Journal came out and had an estimate that 186,000 people have died since the beginning of the war, which is about 9% of the population. Now, this kind of getting rid of data is exactly the same tactic you see Holocaust deniers use. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Strom, that's the end of my list.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. For our folks that are here tonight to speak about Vivian, I hope you'll stay engaged when the school board is back meeting, and likewise show up with your requests for them. With that, we have a couple more quick agenda items this evening to address. First of which, and I omitted saying it at the onset of our meeting this evening. So each of our agenda items, we went through pretty quickly on the consent agenda. There's a lot of information on lakewoodspeaks.org. It's more than just a public comment inputting website. It actually also houses all of our preparation materials that we use for our meetings this evening, and everything that included was on the consent agenda. With that, there are also a couple of documents around our general business, and the first item that we have this evening is the need for us to schedule a special meeting in order to meet the requirements of our charter. November ended up being a little bit of a strange month. We didn't have a meeting that month. We're required to have a meeting every single month, and Lord knows we've got plenty of business to do, so we need a meeting. And so with that, we need to make a formal motion and a vote in order to have that meeting set up in November. May I have a motion, please?
Thank you, Mayor Strom. I move to cancel the 7 p.m. study session scheduled for November 18th, 2024, and replace it with a 7 p.m. special City Council meeting.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any council discussion? All right. With that, we'll go ahead. Please cast your votes. All right, that passes unanimously. 8 yeses. Second item in general business this evening, we have a city council request for action, and with that, I'll hand over the floor to Councilor Over.
Thank you, Mayor. To bury the lead, I'm going to be talking about council visiting NREL. When I ran for office, or this office, one of my slogans was, if you want to follow the science, elect a scientist. I'm in fact a geophysicist. And that is something that pops up here a lot is you hear follow the science and data driven. Thank you, Josh. Timing was everything on that one. So we hear that all the time around here. And so the question is, okay, where are we going to get our science? Where are we going to get our data? And it would just so happens that we have NREL, the National Renewable Energy Lab, sitting on the doorstep of Lakewood. And you all know it's out toward Golden. And I'm just going to call them NREL from now on. And that seems like a really good place for us to go and get some of the data that we would like. Their mission, NREL's mission, is to address the triple planetary crisis, which is global warming, billions of tons of waste. You've all heard about the giant Texas-sized trash in the middle of the Pacific, and you've all seen the pictures, so that's one of their missions, is to address that, and the decline of global ecosystems. And some of the research areas that they're working on that would affect us as Lakewood is materials science. I'm one of the veterans, but we used to have Councilor Charlie Abel would talk about concrete that wasn't contributing to global warming. And I really never knew what he was talking about, truthfully. And I looked it up a little bit, and it seems like they're like 7% of emissions comes from the creation of concrete globally. It's basically during the formation of changing limestone into concrete and the heat they use and everything else. But the way he talked, there's obviously ways that we can do so, or there's something that can be done about that. So that's just one of their research lines. And who knows what else they're doing under material sciences. Certainly they talk about sustainable buildings, and we should probably know a little bit about that if we're going to try to be sustainable. They're working on solar energy. That's a big one for us because we just approved $2 million to put solar cells on the top of Whitlock Rec Center. I asked a number of questions about that ahead of time, and I still have a number of questions about it. What I'm thinking is if we went to NREL and we found out what's the latest, what's happening with solar cells, how fast are they improving? How are we going to get rid of all of them once they live their lifespan? I mean, there's just a whole bunch of questions I would have loved to have answered before voting on that. But, solar cells are a plus overall, so I did vote yes on that one. But I'd love to know more, and I bet you other people would love to know more about that one. Along those lines, batteries or energy storage, we all have. Well, I asked this one about Whitlock. I said, are we going to have batteries there, or are we selling the energy back to Excel and back and forth? And basically, it's a back and forth thing, but we are going to be looking at batteries at some point. And the question there becomes, what type of batteries? Because I know NREL's working on other batteries besides lithium. And we all are trying to get electric cars as much as we can. We're trying to push that. That seems to be one of our agendas, is to push electric cars. I have a hybrid. I have a lithium battery in there. I'm already worried about what's going to happen when all of these batteries reach the end of their lifespan. I'm really, just because there's so much of it, and we're creating so much more of it, where's it going to go? I really wonder sometimes if we're not going to have a lithium problem that's worse than atomic nuclear waste down the road somewhere. So I'd like to know more about that, and I'd like to ask them. A couple other things. Geothermal, I don't think it really would matter to us, but it can't be just in the little spots where there's heat at the surface, like some of the hot springs up in the mountains. I've heard about people drilling and using geothermal down here. I don't know. I'd love to know more. Maybe it's possible. Other things, I already said, sustainable buildings. They're working on weatherization assistantship for low-income people. They're working on hydrogen and fuel cells. They obviously work on wind, that whole plant up there on, well, just south of Boulder. And bioenergy is another thing, and I don't even know what that is. But it'd be, half these things I don't know, and I'd love to know more before I vote on certain things that come up here. So, we're supposed to be leaders and to know things. You all know we get asked all the time, what about this? I don't know, I'll have to ask somebody else. So the idea of going and finding out and getting some background information or background knowledge on a few of these issues that come before us, it strikes me as a good idea. And for those with intellectual or scientific curiosity, that would be a very fulfilling exercise. Therefore, I move that we contact NREL's government affairs team. They have one. There's actually quite a bit I've got written up here about that, but I won't go into it now. With the purpose of setting up a morning or an afternoon when counselors, Lakewood counselors, and staff, if they want to go, and I would think the sustainability group would be very interested in this, and possibly other staff members. So all those can visit the NREL campus to receive updates on topics of interest to Lakewood Council staff, citizens. Thank you.
Okay, so to make sure I'm clear, your request had mentioned a study session, but it sounds like asking for something that would be outside, like just a non-calendared meeting. We're inviting staff.
Right. I could read my original submission here.
No, I've got
there's
it.
No, yeah, I mean, because I said in there we could, I mentioned a study session, but I put "or" in capital letters. We could go there, possibly hold a workshop study session there, maybe make an afternoon of it, moving from lab to lab. Maybe we could also invite other municipalities like Golden, Wheat Ridge, Morrison, Arvada. The more information that is disseminated, the better for everyone. So yeah, I originally probably wrote down study session, but it's not going to really work because it would take too long, I think. I think there's probably more information out there, and they would probably want to give us a lot more than we could sit, they could, and there would probably be a lot more people there, participants from them. I mean, somebody might not come in and want to talk about solar and materials. My guess is that's two people. And so, therefore, going there seems to make the most sense.
Okay, thank you. So to get clear on our ask and what we're voting on, we're looking for an off-site tour that would include council. It sounds like you've got some specific things in mind. Would you be wanting to organize that so that you're getting exactly what you're looking for?
Yes, I can do it. I can organize it easily.
Okay.
It's not specific. I mean, the list of what they're working on is extensive. And I was just picking out the ones that seem to interest us.
Okay.
Solar panels for sure. Wind, well, maybe not wind, but the materials for sure. There's some other things that we don't care about. The grid, the security of the grid, electrical grid across the United States they're working on, we really don't care. It's not our wheelhouse.
Well, it sounds like you're looking for an opportunity for everybody to be able to show up with their questions.
Yeah.
And tour. So, council, it seems clear to me, we're looking, Counselor Over would be setting up an event for City Council to go visit, be able to tour, be able to ask questions. It would not be during a normal scheduled study session or meeting night, but an off-calendared, similar to what we did recently with the Slash site.
Yes.
Okay. As far as staff goes, do you guys have any questions, thoughts?
I wrote the motion down as motion to contact NRL's public affairs team to set up a tour of the campus by the Lakewood City Council and interested staff. I have not heard a second.
Second.
Thank you. All right, so we have 3 counselors that have voiced a desire to speak. I apologize, I was watching Counselor Over. I did not take note as to the order in which these came in. So we'll start first with Counselor Matt Guerrero, Lowe, and then Sinks.
I just wanted to say, I think that I had a little bit of hesitance of it needing to be a study session just because I've seen our agenda for the next few, but I think the idea of a tour is a great one, and really understanding all of the possible resources that we have in this arena is an excellent idea, and I feel very in favor of us having that opportunity. If I'm available, I will attend.
Counselor Lowe.
Couldn't have said it better. +1 to Counselor Mayat Guerrero. I'd be glad to go on this this tour. It sounds to me similar to the field trip that we went to at the Slash facility. I'd love to go. Counselor Over, I appreciate you taking the lead on this, and it sounds like you're also generously taking the lead on maybe setting up some of the logistics, which I think is appreciated by all. But yeah, let us know when and where, and I'll be glad to join you.
Counselor Sinks.
Thank you, and I echo the same. Thank you, Councillor Olvers, for bringing this to our attention. I think it's very needed, and I was also going to reference the field trip to the Slash facility. Several of us went. It was very informative. I think this will also be right in there, only really informative with all the science there. So I'm also excited about the possibility of learning more about what's there. Thank you.
Councillor LeBeer.
The more we know, the better. I'd be happy to attend and support it. Thanks, Councillor Over.
Councillor Cruz.
Just wanted to second that, and I look forward to the opportunity if we can attend, and it could be a great opportunity to see our new separated bike lane right over there.
Councillor Nystrom.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm absolutely in favor of this. I think anytime we can get information and consult with other parties that are working on this along with our staff, it's a great opportunity. One comment on the batteries is the technology is continuously changing. It's getting better and better. Just how the power is stored and the makeup of that. But in addition to being able to reuse batteries and the battery life getting better consistently. But again, it's probably an area where they can provide us a lot of guidance, because for future planning purposes and as we hopefully eventually convert the city fleet to electric vehicles, I think that would be really valuable information to have a heads up on. So thank you. Councilor Over.
Councilor Over.
Thank you. I didn't mention it before, but I think sending some staff is a very good idea. They talk about a lot of some programs for state and local governments where they say they provide technical assistance for projects, for those that allow community partners to estimate rooftop photovoltaics, potential, yeah, and other things. So anyway, it seems like they have an awful lot of governmental partners, not just the feds, which funds everything, but state and local. I mean, I know there was 500-600 is what they announced on the website that they have these partnerships. And, you know, since they're so close, I was thinking maybe we want to even volunteer or partner with them about something, some idea, something new, that's something they want to test, and we have a roof somewhere that's not being used. You know, I'm making that up, but along those lines. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, all right, well, let's go ahead and cast our votes. All right, and that passes 8 yeses, 0 nays. So from a clarity perspective, as far as staff goes in organizing this, I'm just going to put this out here as we are in a little bit of a transition phase. We don't have an executive assistant at this moment, so, but we'll hopefully soon. Maybe Counselor Olver might work with the new person when that person's here, or do we, maybe Mr. Goldstein in the meantime? Do you have thoughts, Ms. Hudson?
Sure. So I'm just trying to think this through myself. If Counselor Olver would put the logistics together, we'll make sure out of the CMO office to make sure everyone's informed with a proper amount of notice so that you can adjust schedules, et cetera. And we can invite the staff as well. So sure, when you have that information, just pass that to anybody over at CMO. Either Mr. Goldstein or myself, either one is fine. And we'll follow up.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And now we move on to our council reports. And we'll start with Ward 1 this evening.
Yay, I was hoping you would. This Saturday from 8 o'clock until noon is the 7th annual IBER Sustainable Garden Tour. And that should be really cool. You can go on the Sustainable IBER website and find more information about that. So again, self-directed, and there are 11 sites. You can choose to go to all 11 or just to go to a few, whatever your time allows you to do. But yay, gardening, sustainability, that's awesome. And then again, there has been, so again, typically Ward 1, we do not have a July ward meeting, and we are having an August ward meeting. However, it will not be the first Saturday. It will be August 17th. So thank you very much.
Ward 2.
I can get us started. So I just wanted to echo about the Sustainable IBER events, a wonderful joint Ward 1, Ward 2 organization right there. I'm excited to see some of my neighbors' gardens. Additionally, since it will happen before we're back on the dais, there's always great happenings at the 40 West Arts District for First Friday. So I believe that will be August 2nd. And look forward to seeing folks at the Hub and at all of the great galleries at 40 West. Also just wanted to shout out, we just had our July ward meeting about bike and pedestrian safety, and despite it being a hot and beautiful summer day, we had really great attendance, and I think it really speaks to the importance of safety around our ward and around our city for cyclists, pedestrians, folks with different mobility challenges as well. So I think that that really has re-energized a lot of our work on these important topics, and I look forward to some of our upcoming work on speeds and other matters. So I think that that is it on my end, and I will pass it to my co-counselor.
I don't know that I have really any additional updates at this point. It is continues to be a really busy summer with a long list of events. I want to encourage people to once again check out the O'Kane Park Neighborhood Association events on twice a month on Tuesdays. There are food trucks in the park. You can check their website or their Facebook to get the details of which food truck is going to be there, to let them know that you're coming, but all are welcome, and it's a really nice time. And I think that my co-counselor Cruz really covered the rest of it. Besides that, we will be facilitating community meeting this in August. That is not our traditional ward meeting, which we will be posting. So I just want to reiterate, but thank you.
Ward 3.
Thank you. We had a great Ward 3 breakfast. When was that? Last week. Definitely had summer vibes, but good conversation for those who attended. We will be getting details out for our Ward 3 ward meeting next month. Stay tuned for that. We don't have a date on that, but we will soon. There'll be one in August, and then we'll do office hours in September. I'm looking forward to going to the Sounds Exciting Summer Concert Series in Belmar Park this Wednesday evening. I hope I don't butcher this. The McCharmleys and the Charities are going to be performing. There are a couple of these concerts have been great. A lot of good times. You can check out and get tickets at lakewood.org/summer concerts. So in addition to the concert this weekend or this Wednesday, there's also one on July 31st. And also check out the Belmar, just had it up. The Belmar, well, if you Google the Belmar website, they have a lot of different information on the events that they have in Belmar Plaza. There's a ton of stuff going on. There was a great concert this last Saturday, and there's another one coming up on August 17th. A lot of music, food, good times, a lot of good stuff happening in Ward 3, so be sure to check it out.
Ward 4.
I was thinking of something else. I'm sorry. I'm going to repeat something and stay on topic like I was already on. I'm going to repeat what I said the very first meeting we had here in the very first ward report, where I said that if you are interested in lifelong learning, almost every college I've looked into has a program for people over a certain age, whether it's 60 or 58 or 62, they vary by college. You can audit classes for free. So, and I've done this many times. I tend to go to MSU downtown. And so you basically just get a hold of the program they have, which at MSU is called Lifelong Learning. And you can just audit a class, just sit in. All that is necessary is there's a seat, a physical seat, and then you have to ask the professor if it's okay, and they have always said yes. Myself, I've done a lot of science. Through college, it was science, and now later I'm going, arts and psychology. I love to go to psychology classes and arts. I've gone to a couple theater classes, and I'm too afraid of acting, but I'd love to try that. But have stage fright, I'm afraid. So that's all I have right now. Thanks.
All right, Ward 5.
I think it's unfair that people keep making me laugh before I need to speak. Okay, so on Wednesday, we have our award meeting with a change of venue. We will be at the Carmody Rec Center at 6 p.m. And again, as I stated last time, there is a farmer's market from 10 to 2 every Sunday, at the church parking lot in Mile High, the Mile High Church, rather. And there's a good selection of different vendors and people selling things, fruits and vegetables. It's pretty cool. And at our, sorry to back up one minute, we are going to have a Lakewood PD officer at our upcoming ward meeting, and I'm going to be sharing some additional information on things that we can do within the ward to help with sustainability and community engagement. And I'm going to be sharing some of the information that we learned at the at the tour we did for the slash facility at Tin Cup. So not sure if Councilor LeBure has anything to add, but I also wanted to mention that, as everyone knows, I'm very passionate about sustainability and improving where we are right now. And quite frankly, if we don't do something, we're not in good shape. Our air quality continues to decline. That is a fact of life here, but unfortunately we are now on target to exceed 2021's air quality alert days, which is largely caused by ozone issues. The main reasons for our air quality decline here in Lakewood is due to transportation, as well as oil and gas extraction. And right now we're also feeling the effects of forest fires. That is something that will continue. And I would just encourage everyone to start thinking very closely about what they're doing individually to help this situation. Can you drive less? Can you travel less? Can you replace one of your appliances that is currently gas to electric? Emissions emitted from furnaces and hot water heaters stay in the atmosphere for 50 years. I'm very conscious of the fact that our responsibility is to leave a better world than what we came into. And it's going to take all of us. And I really think it's a day-to-day philosophy that I would encourage everybody to start thinking about more closely and acting on. Thank you.
I just want to thank my co-counselor for that, and I want to just follow up with, was excited to hear that the Denver Regional Council of Governments received an EPA grant from the federal government, and the Colorado Energy Office did as well. The Denver Regional Council of Governments grant was for $200 million, and that's a large part supposed to go towards targeting the electrification of buildings, including nearly 40,000 financial incentives to improve buildings and pay for electric appliances like heat pumps, water heaters, induction stoves, and 1,600 low-income residents to run on zero carbon electricity. So just wanted to share that exciting news since we're obviously a part of the Denver Regional Council of Governments. It's exciting to see that some of these incentives will likely make their way into Lakewood, but I continue to think we should also be doing more as a local government as well to help contribute to that. But I just want to point out some good news. So I'm looking forward to the ward meeting and seeing everybody there. Thanks.
All right. And I will bring us home this evening with a verbal announcement. I don't think I've said yet up here about the Mayor's Park Challenge. For those of you that have read Looking at Lakewood, you've seen it already. But we have in our city over 100 parks, and I will say probably 90% of them I have not personally been to. Like many of us, we do maybe the 5 or the 6 that are around our house, and we do them over and over and over again. Like that was a daily occurrence for our family during COVID. And we had 2 very inspiring Lakewood residents that during that period actually took it upon themselves to visit every single park in Lakewood, and they've been encouraging me to do that for the last couple of years. My life has not been very conducive to getting out and doing lots of outside time between mom and business and city council and campaign related stuff. So this is the summer that I want to get outside and get healthy, and I am inviting everybody to come along with. You can learn more about it at lakewoodtogether.org. We have that on there. And we have prizes, and there's one prize. Actually, we've got 2 prizes now. The primary prize is a dinner for 2 at Casa Bonita. So what people need to do is go out to a park, take a selfie of yourself, upload it onto lakewoodtogether.org. And for our businesses out there, we also now have an opportunity for those that may want to donate additional prizes. You can go in and express an interest August, and we'll be reaching out to get those set up with you as well. So I would encourage all of us in Lakewood to get out and enjoy multiple parks, visit a different ward. You know, a lot of us don't see the different wards. When we're used to living in 2, we may not visit 4 and 5 and 1 and all of this. And it's really fun to be able to get out and actually see different places. And the interesting thing I found with this, I have not yet documented, I will say the selfies are not on there very much yet for some of my park visits. I need to get better at that. But it's been interesting. Lakewood has so many parks that are even like right next door to each other. I was able to visit 3 in one day, and it was actually not even a long visit because we have some parks that are so close in proximity. So just want to do a shout out about that this evening. And then also let everybody know we did have a bit of an agenda shift, August, September, a little bit for those of you that have been enthusiastic in watching the schedule as far as some of the traffic calming measures that City Council is talking about, most notably slowing down the traffic speed in our neighborhoods. That has moved out to September, so wanted to let everybody know that that is still on the agenda. It's just shifted out a little tiny bit. And also that next week is the 5th Monday, which is a week. On 5th Mondays, we do not have council meetings. So everybody has the night off next Monday night. And we will see you all back here for our next study session, which will be August 5th. So with that, seeing no further business, we will go ahead and adjourn this evening at 8:34.